production is huge for you. So like, what kind of sparked your want to like start posting about that on social medias? Because like that's how I found you. Is like I was scrolling and then one of your videos came up that you were you had someone on. I forget, it was like one of your friends was doing a vocal thing. And like you're making the choir, and I was like, dude, this is so cool. And like it inspired me. But I was like, what kind of like gave you like that like idea to be like, oh, I should start putting this out?
I believe that if I was going to have some sort of attention in the industry, if I was going to get anyone to listen to my music that doesn't know who I am, I can't just write, record, and just release the songs. I have to like promote them. And I thought, well, how am I going to promote songs? I'm not like, I don't want to just like sell myself, like try to make these quirky videos, and nothing against people that make cool, like quirky or funny or goofy videos. But to me, I'm like, I want to like be as authentic to what I'm doing as possible. Like, cause it feels like an ad, and I've done it before, and it just feels so exhausting to try to create like an advertisement, I thought, wouldn't it be cooler to just show people what I'm doing, and then be like, yeah, by the way, this song is out if you're interested. I accidentally went viral in 2020, showing
I love
people.
Accidentally.
It really was a complete accident. Here, so the story, real quick, and then I'll kind of finish off, like, to answer your question.
You roll with it. Yeah,
I watched this guy, a buddy, one of the most talented musicians I've ever met. Briefly, he moved out to LA. You probably heard of him. His name's Justice West, and he's just an incredible writer, producer, guitarist, and he's got major credits with major artists. He's out in LA, but he's from the same city as me, actually, here in Overland Park. And he had reposted the lead singer of X Ambassadors explaining how they created the choir to their song Belong. And so this was back when I first got into TikTok, back in 2020, COVID, right before COVID, actually. And was it? Yeah, I think it was right before COVID. And I had watched this guy layer his voice a million times, and it sounded like this massive choir. And my first thought was, oh, that's cool. But I'll be real. I sat there and I thought, I do this all the time. Like, that's so cool. But I'm doing this. Like, I should just like show people that I know how to do this too, because I think it's cool. So I did a little poll on my story. I posted his thing, and I said, should I try this? And people were like, yeah, go for it. That'd be fun, And I was like, okay, bet. So I was working like some random sales job at the time, and I was living at home, and I was literally recording music in my bedroom. Like, I had like this tiniest space ever to record. And I just, 30 minutes, real quick, I laid down, and here's the problem. I copied the exact same, not just format of his video, but I used his song, I used his lyrics, I did the exact same thing as him. I tagged him, and I tagged the band, and I made it very clear that I didn't write the song, but my version went like hecka viral on TikTok, like 4 million streams or views or whatever, a couple million on Instagram. It was getting hits on Twitter. Like, people were like blowing this thing up. And people started thinking I wrote the song. It was super funny. Like, they were getting mad at X Ambassadors. They're like, like it was actually super funny. The NFL's official TikTok account reposted it, or used the audio in one of their highlight reels. It was the most random thing I've ever seen. And it was in that moment that I was like, I got to show people how I make things in the studio, because I do this all the time. So problem was, I didn't have any music out at the time as a solo artist, or I had like 2 songs or 3 songs, I was working on my first album, The Movies, and I wanted to just focus on that for a long time. So I finished the album. A few months later, following year 2021, I was struggling to get anyone to listen to my music and struggling to get anyone to watch my videos on TikTok or Instagram. So I made this elaborate, like, how I made the intro to my first song on the album, Pre-K. And I used household items, and these are true things that I did. I just refilmed. I kind of recreated the moment. I filmed myself banging pots and pans and shaking like macaroni and cheese shakers, and sampling like glass dings and things like that, And this also went fairly viral, and that turned into more streams and things like that. So kind of the mentality behind sharing what I do in the studio became a couple things. 1, advertisement, and 2, just straight like education and like inspiration for other producers and people that are curious on how music is made.